Alright, this is going to be your 6-5 lesson. This is for Algebra 2. If you're watching it and you're not in Algebra 2, don't. Make sure that you've got your pencil and your paper ready so that you can take notes along with me doing this. I'm going to go slow enough so you can write it down just like you're in class. Remember that you've got to take a picture of your notes and your workbook pages in order to get credit for this assignment. So you've got to do both of those. I want to make sure you actually listen to and watch the whole entire lesson. So just do that. It's not going to be very long. We're just solving some equations with roots in them. So 6-5 is solving root equations. Okay? So this is what to do if we have a root or if we have something that's raised to a power that also means a root. So if we have a fraction power. So the first thing we're going to do is if you have the actual root symbol in there, so we're going to write some steps down to solve the root equations. And the first thing that you'll want to do is you want to get the root by itself. So if there's other stuff around, you need to subtract that, divide it, whatever you need to do to get it to the other side. So get the root, spelled geet, that's funny. Let's try again. Okay, get the root by itself. Okay, and then once the root is alone, you are going to raise both sides to whatever power that root is. If it's a square root, you square both sides. If it's a cubed root, you raise both sides to the third power. So then we're going to raise both sides to the power of the root. Okay, so let y'all get that written down before we do a couple of equations. So there are some that I'm going to do, and I'm going to show you all the steps, and then I'm going to have some time for you to practice a few of them. So I want you to actually practice those and make sure that you got it before you move on to the next part. So we'll just do 2 examples, and then I'll have you do 1 or 2. So the first one, what if I had 3 times the square root of x minus 8 is equal to 7. So at this point, I'm just trying to get the square root of x part by itself. So I'm going to have to move everything else to the other side. And once I'm done, I'll square both sides and be finished. So just like a regular equation, we've got to move this 8 first. So we're going to add the 8. And so we end up getting 3 times the square root of x is equal to 15. And the square root of x is almost by itself. This isn't a cubed root. This is a square root. That's why I make the 3 really, really big. So to get rid of this 3, we're going to divide by 3 on both sides. Those will cancel out. And we have that the square root of x is equal to 5. And then to get rid of the square root sign, you're going to square both sides because that's going to get rid of it. It's an inverse operation. So I'm going to square this, square that. So the square root of something squared, that's just going to cancel out your square root sign and your squared, so it's just x. And 5 squared is 25. But you can figure that out right here. Square root of what is 5? That would be 25. And always go back and check it and make sure it works. The square root of 25 is 5. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 minus 8 is 7. So that does work out. Okay? Alright, I'll do another one before I have you do one by yourself. Let's try a cubed root this time. Let's say I have the cubed root of 2x plus 1 is equal to 3. So for this one, I'm just trying to get the root part by itself, and it is. There's nothing added at the end. There's nothing multiplied. So now I'm just ready to go ahead and raise it to whatever power I need to raise it to. So since it's a cubed root, I'm going to cube both sides. Okay. So the cubed root cube, that's going to cancel out, and we're left with a 2x plus 1 is equal to, and 3 to the third power is 27. If you didn't know that, you can put that in your calculator, that's fine. Alright, so now if we want to get x by itself, we'll first, this is just a 2-step equation, y'all can do this in your sleep. Subtract 1 So 2x is 26. Divide by 2, and x equals 13. Go back and check. 2 times 13, 26, plus 1, 27. The cube root of 27 is 3. So we are good. Check, check. Okay, here's one I want you to try on your own. Where can I put this one? Let's see. Oh, I'll do this right here. Let's go with, on your own, I want you to do the cubed root of 2x minus 4 plus 8 is equal to 6. So go ahead and try that. I'll give you about a minute or two. Okay, if you're not done, which you probably aren't, it'll take you a little minute. You can pause the tape, otherwise I'll fill up a bunch of space with dead air time. So just hit pause until you finish and then replay and I'll show you what to do. Okay, so hopefully you're done, you've come back. So we're going to get rid of this 8 first because it's not part of the root. So we'll subtract 8 from both sides and get the cubed root of 2x minus 4 is equal to negative 2. And then just like we did before, to get rid of a cubed root, we will cube both sides. So cube, 2x minus 4 is equal to negative 8. Because 2 cubed is 8, so negative 2 cubed would be negative 8. We're going to add 4. So 2x is negative 4, and then divide by 2, and x equals negative 2. So hopefully you got negative 2 for your answer. You can check it. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Minus 4 is negative 8. The cubed root of negative 8 is negative 2. Plus 8 is 6. So that ended up checking out. We're good to go. Okay, so that's if you have roots. Sometimes, though, you will have fraction exponents in a problem, and we need to solve those. So we will do that. These fraction exponents, the fancy word for them is with rational exponents. Rational exponents and how to solve those problems. I'll put fraction in parentheses so you can see it. Okay. So the first part of these problems are exactly the same as with the roots. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get whatever is raised to the fraction power by itself. So you're going to get the rational exponent and its base isolated, or get them by themselves. Rational exponent and base by itself. Okay. And then just like up above, if something was square rooted, we had to square it. Or cubed rooted, we had to cube it. Or fourth rooted, we had to raise it to the fourth power. So if we think about what that actually means with a fraction exponent, that remember that the square root is the same as the 1/2 power. The cubed root is the same as the third power. So when we got rid of something that was a cubed root, we raised it to the third. To get rid of something that was a square root, we raised it to the second. And it's so that when we raise it to those powers, if I raise this to the second power, 1/2 times 2 is just 1. So those will cancel out, and it's x to the first, and that's what we want to see. So we want to figure out what we can multiply this fraction by in order to have it cancel out. So what that is just the reciprocal. So if I just flip the fraction over and multiply it times each other, you're always going to get 1. So if I had like 2/3 and I multiplied it by 3/2, you're going to get 6 over 6, and that is 1. You want that to be 1 so it goes away. If I had 1/4 and multiplied it by 4 over 1, you're going to get 4 over 4, and that is just 1. So for us to get rid of these fraction exponents to solve our problem, we have to raise both sides to the reciprocal power. And you have to do that just so that exponent goes away and the variable is going to be all by itself. Okay? Alright, so we'll do a couple of these and I'll have you do one on your own. These will go by really quickly. Let's say I had 2x plus 1 to the 1/3 is equal to negative 3. So for this problem, we already have the base and the exponent by itself, so we don't have to do anything. Step 1's already done. So step 2 says raise both sides to the reciprocal power. Reciprocal, remember, just means to flip it over. So if you flip over 1/3, you're going to get 3. So we're going to raise both of these to the 3rd power. Okay? The 3 and the 1/3, they cancel each other out. That makes 1. 3 times 1/3 is 1. So just have 2x plus 1 is equal to negative 27, and we'll solve. Subtract 1, and 2x equals negative 28. Divide by 2, and x equals negative 14. We can go back and check, but that one works out. Alright, we'll do another. Let's go with one that has an actual number on the top instead of just a 1. Now what about 3x to the 4/3 plus 5 equals 53. So in this case, the only thing that's raised to the 4/3 power is the x. There's not parentheses, so the 3 is not bothered by that. So when we get it by itself, we're just trying to get the x to the 4/3 by itself. Okay. So we know we'll subtract 5 first. So 3x to the 4/3 is equal to 48. And divide by 3. That's gone. So x to the 4/3 is equal to 16. And then we want to get the x by itself, so we have to raise it to the reciprocal power. So what's the reciprocal of 4/3? That's right, it's 3/4. I know that's what you were saying at home. 3/4 power. Okay, so this will cancel out here because 4/3 times 3/4, 12/12. That's a 1. We don't care about that. So x equals, and then you could put this in your calculator if you want, or you can remember how we got these. The 4th root of 16 was 2. 2 to the 3rd is 8. So x equals 8 for our answer. Okay. I'll just box both of those. Alright, now I want you to try 2 on your own. Remember to work them out and then start to work them out. Pause it first and then we'll check them and make sure that you've got them right. Alright, so here's the first one I want you to try. X to the 1/6 minus 2 equals 0. And then the second one I want you to try. So do both of these after you've paused it. And we'll make sure everything's good. Okay, so now hit pause, do the work, and whenever you're finished, hit play again. Okay. Alright, welcome back. Hopefully you got that done. So this first one, I know I need to get rid of this 2. I'm just going to add my 2. So x to the 1/6 is equal to 2. And the reciprocal of 1/6 is 6. So we'll raise it to the 6th power. And that will cancel out. We just have x. And then 2 to the 6th is, I think that is 64. You can check that for me, but pretty sure it's 64. Alright, now let's double check another one. The other one, we have to get rid of this 2 in the front. It's not part of this, so make sure that you divided by 2 first. Hopefully you did. I bet you did. Y'all are geniuses. So x to the 3/4 is equal to 8. And the reciprocal of 3/4, we all know that's going to be 4/3. We can flip numbers over. 4/3. And you can put 8 to the 4/3 in the calculator, or you can just say cubed root of 8 is 2. 2 to the 4th is 16. so x equals 16. So hopefully you got those two correct. And you were able to check that. Alright, so now you are ready to do your workbook in case you didn't see it on there. I think it's just the first page, numbers 1 through 24. I think that's all I gave you. But make sure that you are doing that where I can see all of your work. I suggest doing it on a separate sheet of paper, but if you send it to me with just the answers on your workbook page, I will send that back and say, try again, you're not getting points until you've actually shown your work. See, these problems aren't problems that you just do in your head. So write all your steps out so I know you know exactly what you're doing, since I can't watch you do any of your work this week. Okay, thank you very much. Enjoy this, and I think, what's today? Tuesday? So this is going to be due on Thursday, so get this done. Unless you are an A-Day, I made this first for B-Day. So if you're an A-Day, you'll get this assignment on Wednesday. It'll be due on Friday. All right.